If you've watched some of my most recent videos, you'll know that I'm no stranger to issues with public EV charging. What surprised me more though, was the sheer number of you commenting on those videos about your experiences, especially those in particular with the one operator monopolising the motorway network. Many of you mentioned that you think the government needs to step in, take some action to improve the provision of public charging, regulating the operators to a greater extent, and improving the availability, reliability and customer experience. And I couldn't agree with you more on that. But it's no use just sitting around ranting into the YouTube ether, is it? How can we get them to take action? Well, it turns out that there's a government consultation running. There's a link in the description. I'm going to fill it out and show you my responses in this video, and I strongly urge you to do the same after you've finished watching. The Office for Zero Emission Vehicles, OZEV, or used to be called OLEV, is seeking views on ways to improve the consumer experience for electric vehicle drivers at public charge points. We want to introduce regulations that improve the consumer experience in the following 4 ways. Making it easier to pay, opening up charge point data, using a single payment metric, and ensuring a reliable network. We propose approaches that recognise the risks and burdens to an emerging market whilst best meeting consumer needs. We're also seeking evidence on 3 emerging policy areas, that is, accessibility for disabled consumers, weatherproofing and lighting, and signage. Now, those all definitely sound like burning issues to me, almost like someone at OZEV is listening. Sounds a little bit sensible for our government, but let's get into the consultation questionnaire. I'll show you my responses, and I'll walk you through the questionnaire. But of course your opinion may differ, and that's absolutely fine. What's most important though is that you have your say, and do come back to the description after you finish watching the video for the link to the consultation. Here we go. This is the questionnaire attached to the consultation on the consumer experience of charge points. The link's in the description. The first page just asks you for your name and email address. So question 3, obviously the first questions are for your name and email address. Do you currently drive or have you driven an electric vehicle? Yes. So we believe consumers should be able to pay instantly for using public charge points in a smooth and hassle-free manner. At present, consumers need to be in possession of multiple membership cards or smartphone apps to access the public charging network. Currently, only 41% of rapid and higher powered charge points, 50 kilowatt plus, have contactless debit or credit card payment as an option. So I don't particularly like the phone call or text option. I think, to be honest, I think the only viable options here, in my opinion, are debit or credit card, whether that be chip and pin or contactless. I'm not a fan of pay by phone, pay by text. So I don't think there needs to be any other alternative payment approaches from the sort of minimum payment method. I think if everybody accepts debit or credit cards, I think that's fair enough. You might disagree. Let me know in the comments what you think, of course. If implemented, do you think these requirements should apply to all charge points? Yes, I absolutely do. And this is interesting too, so roaming, so the idea of all network operators need to let you pay by one method, or let you have access by one method through one membership card or smartphone app, and allowing a payment method that would meet the needs of fleet vehicle drivers as well. So I guess this would be like an equivalent of the Charge Place Scotland network, where you can access everything with one card, one membership. But in this case, it would be no matter what network that was on. And some private providers have tried to do this. You've got like the Octopus Juice card that works across multiple networks. But I think this is a really good idea. So for government to force a standard, I definitely think is a good thing. So I'm going to shun the market-led approach, because I think if we let the operators do what they want, then nothing will happen. And I'm all in favour of a interoperable roaming platform. But if we had to go down the route of third-party mobility platforms, that would also work. But I think the most important thing here is for the charge point providers to not continue the way they are with their proprietary memberships and them all wanting you to sign up to them. So I'd be very interested to hear what your opinion is on this question, but that's certainly where I sit with it, I think. So the proposal here is to vet these mobility service providers, and either we're saying you can either meet a baseline criteria that will be published by the government or another organisation stating the minimum level of technical development size or business processes that you need to adhere to in order to have access, or they'd be FCA regulated. Now, I understand that that's a thorough process for providers of financial services, but I don't see the connection to having access to EV charge points, apart from maybe the payment processing element. So I think we'll go with the minimum baseline criteria on this one. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think those must-have data types are must-have, and I think they should stay the way. I think that's a fair list. I don't think there's any of those we wouldn't want to make available. So no, I don't think there's any of those must-have data types that should not be made available. So they should have data types of booking information, how you actually access a charger, and any ancillary services on site. They're definitely not mandated to be available. I'm definitely in agreement with that. And they could have data types of who is charging, how many people are waiting. They're definitely not. I can't think of any that are actually providing that at the moment. So I can't really comment on accessibility and what should be included in disabled access information. So I'm going to leave that one because I've got no idea what the needs of a disabled driver would be in terms of charge points. But if those of you that know more on that, definitely you should add your comments there, I think. Okay, here we go. Pricing standards. Probably be a bit more placed to answer some of these questions, I think. You believe EV chargers should be able to compare the cost of charging between different networks easily. Electricity drawn from public charge points by EVs is currently priced using a range of different metrics. This creates confusion and means a lack of comparability between different charge point networks. We're opposed to mandating pence per kilowatt hour being the standard pricing. So I think that'd be good. We get rid of connection charges, get rid of time-based charges. I definitely support that. Do you agree we should allow charge point operators to have the flexibility to determine how the cost of charging is made available, energy consumed is made available, and the total cost of a charging event is made available? No, I think there should be a standard for all of those. And with the exemptions, charge point operators provide free charging under their membership models, parking and charging bundled offers. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, those exemptions are fair enough, I think. The cost to the driver will be based on the quantity of electricity supplied as determined by a meter. For the most accurate reading, require that all newly installed must comply with the measuring instrument regulations to avoid inaccurate measures and shortchanging the driver. Well, I mean, I would hope they had some kind of compliance at the moment, right? They all charge per kilowatt hour, but do you agree that MIR compliant meters should be mandated in newly installed AC charge points, newly installed DC charge points, renewed and AC and renewed DC? Yep. Do you agree that a reliability measure should be set? Proposed being 99% average availability and a 24/7 helpline? Definitely, 100%. Do you agree that 99% availability standard should be used as a fleet-wide average? Yeah, I think that's fair. Do you agree that a 1-year lead time for operators to achieve reliability compliance after the regulations come into force is sufficient to implement the reliability proposals? Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Might be difficult for some of them, but what types of failure should be exempt from reliability compliance? Don't know. To be honest, I think any type of failure should be getting fixed quickly enough, so I'd welcome your opinion on that one. Do you agree that we should maintain that charge point operators provide 24/7 call centres? Yes, 100%. In your opinion, should these call centres be mandated so that calling is low cost, free, or another option? I think low cost is fair enough. I think free they'll just add on to the cost of charging, so I think low cost is fine. I believe anyone, regardless of their mobility, should be able to access EV charge points. However, currently there's little in the way of regulation that specifically directs charge point operators and local authorities to make them accessible. Should, in your opinion, there be standards that are enforced across charge points? For example, payment height, instructions, and so on? Yeah, I guess so. No idea. As I said before, I don't know, but I am sure there is. Do, in your opinion, charge point operators need to provide supervised stations to help assist those with accessibility needs? I guess they probably do, but I think maybe on the motorway network that would be possible, but I don't know if it would be anywhere else. This is an interesting one as well. Weatherproofing and lighting. Charge points are installed in a diverse range of locations, often in more isolated locations than is the case for fuel stations. Much of the charging on the public network will not be in charging hubs, and therefore they don't have lighting or weatherproofing. Weatherproofing at the majority of charge points require improvement. Yes. Lighting at the majority of charge points require improvement. Yes. I think that's fair enough. Do the improvements was applied to all charge points? Yeah, I think they should. Is signage to charge points an area that requires improvement? Yes. It would be a big thing, right? So you can drive to an unknown location and see that there's a charger where you are. And I don't have any final comments to add. So there we are. That was fairly comprehensive and definitely addresses some of the current pain points of EV ownership, at least where public charging is concerned. I'm really hopeful that things will improve off the back of this consultation, and the more of you that respond, the more likely that will be. As I said, the link is in the description, so please get on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.